Guess who's back, bitches? It's the Beers on Heads podcast, episode 13? Just to check. Episode 13 or 14 or 12, and we are officially back after 5-month hiatus. And we do have a reason for that hiatus. We'll get to that later. But, guys, it's really good to see you. Sneed, how you been, brother?
I've been good. I'm here live in living color from Nashville, Tennessee in Bridgestone Arena on press row. They don't know that I'm here, but I'm here.
I hope you don't spend all your per diem over there, bud.
I probably will.
Do they have what's Juicy J's strip club that he has in Memphis?
I did not know about it.
There's one person that
I think
has any idea what that is, if you will.
I think he owns a bunch of ugly coyotes in Memphis. I was wondering if they made it all in Nashville.
I haven't seen any yet, but if I do, I'll go in and
Your per diem, that's the only place you're allowed to spend it because all I gave you was once. All right, JJ, what about you, bud? Good to see you.
Yeah, everyone looks pale and fat.
Speak for yourself.
I think it's just this jersey, man. I've been put in the work a little bit. I don't know what to say. I'm kind of offended. I don't feel like I'm that fat, but
I mean,
we all know who he's talking about.
We as a group look fat and pale. I mean, it's not one of us; it's all of us.
I've been intermittent fasting.
You guys definitely do look pale and fat. I would actually agree with that statement. Yeah. So, since we've been gone, the big thing that has happened is Arkansas basketball is just absolutely badass at putting the ball inside of the hoop.
Wow.
We have missed since Arkansas got their asses kicked by Missouri. Almost, they got their asses kicked by LSU, and they got their asses kicked by Alabama.
And they got their asses kicked by Auburn for a half.
And then they got their asses kicked by Auburn for a half. And then something absolutely magical happened, and that's what we're going to talk about. JJ, what happened, man?
I must have said the magic words. I don't know, dude. Yeah. We went into the locker room at half against Auburn, down like 14 points, and we've been outscoring opponents 20 points a fucking game since then. So I don't know. Whatever he said, he needs to bottle it up and sell it to like hospitals around the world to cure cancer.
Hey, man. Yeah. Speaking of Mr. Will, the infected one, what's going on, man? Did you expect any of this, especially after those 3 games?
So I went back the other day, and after that Alabama game, I can remember saying, like, I don't understand what the hell's happening. Muss is such a good coach. Like, he's renowned for his ability on X's and O's. Like, this team's really, really talented, and I don't know. And I can remember going, I don't know if it's lack of conditioning. I don't know what the hell's going on. And people are in my replies going, oh, yeah, it's the fucking conditioning. It's a condition. No, this team's just not that good, you stupid fuck. Fuck you. And I don't know what the hell they did to turn it around, but they're making me look very smart right now.
Yeah, no, I remember my dad. I watched a lot of games with my dad. He's a Virginia basketball fan. But he was like, man, why are you so mad right now when we were losing? He's like, you should be used to this, like, after Chad Morris and after all these years. I was like, because, Dad, they're good. Like, I know they're good. That's what's making me
we saw it for 2 months. Like, they were good.
Yeah, they're a legit basketball team that had all the pieces. I was scared, and I know it's going to sound bad now that I'm saying this, but at the time, if I would have said this, people might have been, agreeing with me. I thought maybe the transfer thing wasn't working because the ball was stagnant. I thought Jalen Tate might want to, and Justin Smith, all they cared about was, upping whatever stock they had, might not get drafted, maybe like their European stock or something. I have no idea, but I was like, this thing's it's not working. And it really wasn't. But obviously, and I was wrong. I was so stupid. These transfers have decided that they want to do one thing, and that's win. And that's definitely showed. This team is so fun to watch because they share the ball. And it's a bunch of groups of different people, which I must talk about it on PMT the other day. You got grad transfers. You got 3 excellent freshmen, 4 KKs out. But you got that dynamic. Then you have Connor Vanover and JD Note, who just sit out last year. And you get the guys that have been here for a while and maybe not get the minutes they want. But you talk about Ethan Henderson and Desi Sills, just big team guys. And that's, I think, why Arkansas has been so successful. And I think It's a reason they can make a run in the tournament. So we'll get to that next. Arkansas is a 2 seed in the SEC tournament. Probably the favorite to win it all. What do you think?
I want to go back for a second.
I do too.
And talk about that 3-4 game lull that we had, and kind of where, like, I, as the biggest Muss guy on earth at that point in time, like, I was really like, and it wasn't the results that were making me frustrated. Like, we've seen games we lose by 25, 30 points. We've done that. We've been through it. We shook it off, whatever. It happens in basketball. I think, at least for me personally, it wasn't that we were losing by 30. It was how it was being conducted on and off the court for me. And it was
just a dark time. It's hard.
It was a dark time. And that's just, we kind of learned really quickly the double-edged sword with having a very enigmatic and fiery coach. As when you're winning, he's ripping his shirt off in the locker room, dancing with the team. When we're losing, you know, you're going to get that ugly side sometimes where you get your ass beat by 30 and you walk off the court before the game's over. And
the visuals were bad.
It pissed me off. And I was, at that point, I was like, do I really, like, fully support this guy if he sees this is how it's going to be? Now, granted, I don't expect to lose by 30 the rest of his tenure. But if it happens again, you know, it happens again. But hopefully that's just a one-time thing where, you know what, he just had a bad day. The team had a bad day, and he said, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Wrap this bad stuff up, Sneed.
So I've got two things to say about that. And number one is this. This team reminds me a lot of those young Kentucky teams with a bunch of freshmen, and you start watching them play in January and they haven't gelled together, and they're not getting their ass beat by 30, but they're losing to teams that they shouldn't do. And then late January, February, something clicks, they start firing, they come together as a team, and they're a tough out from February until late March. And that's what I've seen out of this team.
Yeah, luckily they got together even earlier than a Kentucky team usually does. Well, I guess about the same time. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
And we've seen a pattern with Muss teams doing this last year even. I mean, we were pretty cold in January, February, but toward the end of February and into the SEC tournament, we really started clicking. And I fully expected to at least reach the SEC semifinals that year had it not been canceled. And then even at Nevada, you know, he kind of dominated the Mountain West tournaments and got himself some pretty good seeding because of that.
Hey, let me talk to the two YouTube comments that I'm about to see. One of them is going to say, Justin Smith was out. Yeah, I know. It was a huge deal. I know Justin Smith was out, but you don't lose by 30. No. Something was going on. All right. Secondly, why are you being so negative? This is the best Arkansas has ever been. The rest of the podcast is going to be freaking all positivity.
Right.
We just had to talk about it since we weren't here. I mean, we're the biggest Arkansas fans in the world. We're like, don't even know what to do with ourselves. We're beyond happy, and we beyond support Muss. Even before the thing was going on, that was just a weird little kind of a relationship, kind of a little blick in the whole thing. Maybe he was seen out, you know, making it nasty on a dirty little whore on the bar. And we said,
not literally, figuratively, if we were in a relationship. Yeah,
exactly. And it was a little blip in the relationship. It got rough. But we're tied together. We're better than ever now. And we love the man. So let's talk about the SEC tournament. A 2 seed, and I'd say as much as the national media likes to discredit Arkansas, they can't turn away. They're probably the favorite in the SEC tournament. Do you think that's a positive thing for Arkansas to be the favorite? I have mixed thoughts about it.
Vegas odds has them as a second favorite, obviously behind Bama, but it's close. As far as if I like that or not, I mean, it can't hurt, right? Like and at this point, we've seen it. You say that, you know, the media tries to kind of disparage the Hogs when they can. We're kind of making it impossible. I mean, you see left and right now. I mean, Seth Davis tweeting at Musselman. You see Vital, of all people, commenting on a 4-week tape delay. He tweeted on Saturday, how is no one talking about Arkansas, baby? And I'm like, dude, like everyone's been talking about Arkansas for like 3 weeks.
That's fine. I'm glad he's in. You got to give the guy some slack. He's like 90.
He gets his tweets, his timeline, I guess, mailed to him. I don't know.
That's fine.
I mean, you can't complain. Like, the other side of the coin there is, would you rather, like, would it be happy or not being the favorite? And like, no, obviously not. Like,
I mean, I like being the favorite. I like national media attention. I'm gonna get to you, Steve. I don't know why I cut in, but I think that the underdog mentality at Arkansas what he's got to do is he's been in Arkansas long enough to know that that's what we are, no matter what they say. And even the 94 teams, I'm sure no one, even though they might have been favored, I'm sure he said, we're still Arkansas. No one thinks we're going to win. He's got to be able to get that inject that into their veins. Whatever he said at halftime at Auburn, he needs to channel that and make it into, we're the underdogs in Arkansas no matter what anybody's saying. Like, they do not expect you to win. They're just putting you in there because they have to.
Do you not think that's fed into 20 years of mediocrity, though? Like, occasionally you'll catch lightning in a bottle and play the underdog card when you have a good team, and you'll, like, actually,
I hope so. I'm hoping
win.
It is. I'm hoping.
No, and I do too. But that could also, the other side of that is you could say, oh, we're the underdog, and then act like the underdog for 20 years.
That was the thing that Nolan Richardson was the best in the world at, though. He had a team that had only lost 3 regular season games lost 2 regular season games all year, and then they lost the championship game. So they lost 3 games going into the NCAA tournament. They're a 1 seed, and he has these guys playing as if we're little old Arkansas and nobody knows who the fuck we are and all that. And you talk about, when they go to play Duke in the championship, and you go back and you read and you look at all of the media coverage that was leading into that. It was, and Nolan, this was Nolan's favorite line about that game. It was the smart kids versus the dumb kids. Mm-hmm. It was the smart school versus the dumb school. Yeah. And that, I think Muss has some of that in him. I really do.
Because if you look at all the national media attention that he gets, a lot of the first things it'll say is Eric Musselman, son of Bill Musselman. He's kind of always been living in that shadow. He didn't have great success in the NBA, had to cut his teeth as an assistant at the college level, had to do all these G League, whatever it was called back then, CBA teams. I mean, that's a real grind. That's like minor league baseball kind of beat, getting paid not that much money, then having to go to Little Nevada, get it done there. I think he actually has some of that fire inside of him too. And I think that's why he kind of likes Arkansas, is because that's just kind of built into the culture here. Even when we're doing well, like Nolan's team, even when we're doing well, there's still kind of the underdog mentality. So that was kind of a weird question. I really do want to talk about the Hogs. I know you got it pulled up, JJ, the bracket. I want to talk about their road to an SEC tournament championship, possibly. I know they're going to either get Missouri or Georgia first, right?
We're all in agreement we'd rather see Georgia, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't want to see Missouri again, especially with Tillman.
Yeah, it depends on if they have Tillman or not.
Yeah.
I think even without Tillman, I'd rather see Georgia.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean,
Georgia's just they can play you tough, but even if they do play you tough, you're going to find a way to win in the end.
Here's my only argument for possibly maybe wanting to see Georgia is that Missouri is going down, Georgia's on the come up, and you don't want to get a team that's hot right now. You
don't think Georgia just wants to pack it in after winning like 10 games this year?
I kind of feel that way. I also feel that, I mean, you played 2 games against Mizzou. Muss is gonna have a great game plan, but I think Missouri wants to beat Arkansas. There's no doubt about it.
I think Missouri wants to beat Arkansas, and I think the difference between playing Missouri and Georgia is you have a Georgia team that in their mind says we have to win 4 games in 4 days, and there's no fucking shot we do that against a Missouri team that's saying, hey, if we win 2 of these games, we may be a 6 seed.
Yeah, they got a seed at stake. They got a lot more at stake. You're probably right. Yeah, we're all in agreement on that. What's the next matchup?
Let's see here. So
LSU?
That would be game 8. We would be game 8, and then the semifinals we would play the winner of game 9, which would be LSU, Ole Miss, or South Carolina. So either
I'd say I don't have a problem with any of those. I don't think LSU is a threat to Arkansas at this point anymore. Musselman's got them figured out. I think that they don't play team basketball, and when it comes down to the postseason, team basketball is going to be individual performances from possibly Cam Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
They have 4 potential scorers. If 2 of them have good games, you could be in trouble.
You could be in trouble, but they haven't had 2 or 3 have a good game in a long time. It's been one guy.
Right, but I mean, you could catch fire and, Thomas and Mays go off for 45, 50 points combined.
Let's just say our side of the bracket is pretty good.
Oh, we got the best draw we could pretty much get.
Oh, it's way better than what Alabama's going to have to go through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either of those two teams, if you have to play Missouri and LSU to get to the championship, then that's a pretty good path.
Yeah.
Is Kentucky going to make a run?
I'm so back and forth on it.
I think they definitely can.
They absolutely can. There's no doubt about can.
They're bad this year. I know they're bad. They're like not a good basketball team, but they have so much talent. And
who's the lottery picks on that team? Like, they're full of 5-star McDonald's kids, but who's getting drafted there?
Nobody.
They've got the one kid I can't remember his name.
But that's what they're playing for, man. That's what Cal's gonna preach. That's Cal's pregame speech.
I know that's what he's gonna preach, and I know, I don't know. There's no Ant Davis. There's no Boogie Cousins. There's not even like a Jared Vanderbilt. Like they don't have any.
You know that. Whatever.
I don't know.
Here's what scares me
I'd expect Bama to obviously win that side of the bracket.
Here's what scares me about Kentucky, though, is not this year, but if a big group of those guys decide to not test the waters and come back next year, they're going to be scary as shit.
Oh, dude, they're going to transfer.
Probably because, Cal's got more 5-stars coming in.
Yeah, dude.
Piss or get off the pot.
Yeah.
So are we trying to say that behind Bama, Kentucky is the least you want to see come out?
If they make it to the championship, then hell no, I don't want to see Kentucky if they're on fire. But I'd rather see Kentucky than Bama probably. Bama is just so scary because everyone knows we've seen them a couple of times this year. If Petty's going, if Shackelford's nailing threes, then you're in big trouble. They can beat anybody in the country on a good night.
Who's the 4 seed? Florida's the 4 seed up there, right?
Florida's the 5. Tennessee's the 4.
I was about to say I think I'm more scared of Tennessee than I am Florida. So Tennessee, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky.
I'm way less scared of Tennessee than I was a month ago.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I
don't know where I even put them at this point.
I know that there's a lot of people that are going to get mad at me for this. I don't like Mike White. I don't dislike him as a person. I just don't like him as a coach. I think Florida
fans are with you.
He doesn't scare me.
That's not a hot take at all.
Rick Barnes scares me a hell of a lot more than Mike White.
The only person who likes Mike White is Jimmy Dykes. You can't stop talking about Mike White. So if Arkansas wins the SEC tournament, lock for the 2 seed. If not, what if they get pushed out by Mizzou in the first game? Do you think that there's a possibility that just they drop all the way to a 4, or are they locked in at a 3?
We're locked as a 3.
All right.
Yeah.
If it happened to anybody, it'd be Arkansas. You know that.
I will say the results this past weekend kind of solidified that. There was a lot of those high 3, low 4 seed teams that either struggled or lost this past weekend.
Yeah, but they're not Arkansas.
I don't think that you can.
They're not.
And this is the Big Ten. It's the SEC is definitely not as good as the Big Ten, and rightfully so. It doesn't get as much respect as it deserves this year.
Here's my argument.
Well, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying.
Like, if the committee is really that sold on Missouri and they want to give them a 6 seed if they win 2 or 3 games in the tournament, then you can't penalize Arkansas that much for losing to a team like Missouri on a neutral court. I mean, if you lost to Georgia, then sure. But
what I do not like right now about being the favorite is we're going to get everyone's best shot. You're going
to get that in March anyway. So, might as well.
You're going to get that in March anyway, but just for the SEC tournament's sake. I like Arkansas being a 2 or 3 seed. I really don't care either way. I'd like to see them be a 2 seed.
I was looking at this earlier.
The bracket.
The path as a 2 seed against the path as a 3 seed is so much better. I mean, statistically speaking, since I think it was the 80s, 2 seed makes the Elite 8 at a 15% higher clip.
Well, maybe because they're a better team.
I think it's more because of seeding. Because
it's draws, yeah.
The jump between a 1 and a 2 is pretty big, but from a 2 to a 3, you got pretty similar level teams there.
Because as a 3 seed, you've got to play the 6 in the second round, right?
Yeah, so that's automatically.
The 6 are always usually Power 5 teams.
Yeah.
Right.
And the 7 could always be a mid-major. You'd rather play a mid-major, I guess.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That 6 teams like a top 25 team off a win, so that's tough.
We now welcome on our 3rd guest ever, Mr. JC Hoops.
I'll take a bow just because I can.
It took us 5 months to book him. That's why we haven't had an episode since November.
He's kind of a drama king, and he joins 2 other great guests, the wonderful Ty Richardson and Keith Grayson. Yeah, so that's pretty elite company, JC. We appreciate having you on it. Are you drinking a beer?
I am.
Let's go!
Good old Coors Light.
Already a leg up on Ty.
That is already a leg up on Ty. Ty is a good guy, a friend of ours, but he told I gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I can't have a beer. So we appreciate you having a beer with us. And let's just quit your quick thoughts on what's going on with Arkansas basketball. Did you expect this?
On one hand, yes, because you look at my preseason or my SEC predictions and stuff. You know, I had Arkansas pegged to go 22-5, finish 13-5 in the SEC, finish 13-4 because they canceled the 1 A&M game on the road. So on one hand, I did kind of expect this sort of success, but the wins and losses didn't exactly match up with who I thought they would win against. I also didn't really expect Alabama to be this good or Missouri to be this good either. So when I picked Arkansas to split against Alabama and Missouri, I wasn't expecting Alabama and Missouri to both be top 10 teams at that time. And so the fact that they were both top 10 teams and Arkansas ended up beating them both times when they were ranked so high, that's just that part was not what I expected at all. I was anticipating, Missouri. I was really down on them coming into this year. I thought they were going to be bottom half of the conference. They returned a lot of guys, but there's just not a lot of talent there. And I think we saw that when they started falling off later in the later half of the season. I just think they don't have the talent. They have the work ethic and they have the coaching, but as far as maintaining that level of success, no, I don't really think they have that. But
that's pretty impressive that you called the record like that. I mean, I would have probably gone, maybe they win 10 games, but I knew they were going to be good. Everyone knew they were going to be good, especially after non-conference going undefeated. I just did not think they're going to be that good. Now I'm going to get to some more Arkansas basketball questions, and JJ's got a couple. I know Sneed does too. But let's talk about you first. Obviously, I had to get the Arkansas basketball question out of the way first. What's your deal, man? It seems like you came up on Twitter. Is that true or false?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, it's one of those things where, I guess around the middle of Chad Morris's second year, I think. So I started a Twitter page. It was like an anonymous thing where I would just tweet about specifically Razorback sports, and I was doing football and stuff.
What was the name? What was the Twitter handle?
I think way back then it was called Hog Blog, it was Hog Blog or something.
I think you stole that from Sneed. Sneed, what was your Facebook page?
It was the Hog Blog.
Oh!
It's okay. We can forgive him. So that's never copyrighted anything.
So the funny thing is that's exactly where I got it from, because I was in that Facebook group.
That's what
I looked for the Facebook group one day, and I was like, it's not on Facebook anymore. I was like, what happened to it? So I was like, shit, if it's not on social media anymore, I'll just make a Twitter handle with it. And it worked.
Did you know it was Sneed that did it?
I had no idea it was Sneed at all.
There were actually, there were 4 of us. There was a guy named Justin, I think, and then there was a guy named Timmy P that was a horrible human being. And then there was a guy
like a meth head.
Oh, he was an awful human being. Terrible human being. I can tell you stories about him at a later date.
Sounds like a good business partner.
But then there was a guy named Brian Walker who was he's a solid dude. So
basically,
those guys were crazy.
JC stole years and years and years of work and just completely ran with it the past year.
And he turned it into a job at Rivals. And I'd say Rivals is like, man, they're the big 3 in Arkansas. You got 24/7, you got Whole Hog, and you got Rivals. That's what everyone pays attention to. So that's really impressive that you went from starting a random Twitter account to
formerly, also it used to be Barstool, Arkansas as the Big Four, but
yeah,
it's gone downhill ever since JJ left.
No,
I mean,
I think it's
hard
only
to follow
gotten
up.
better.
It's hard to have a second act.
Don't give him credit. It's only gotten better.
yeah, the guy that's doing it now is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
He's okay. He'll have his moments. There's one every 10. I'll give him yeah, that's pretty good.
Don't give JJ a big head, but he does kind of steal JJ's whole demeanor. He
you lay down a framework, and it's just it's like the Declaration of Independence. Like we still or the Constitution. We still follow the rules from there.
All right, just to wrap up this intro, JC, you're also in law school and now work for Rivals from stealing Sneed's Twitter account. That's a pretty wild story. What is it that you want to end up doing? Are you gonna be a lawyer? Are you gonna be our lawyer one day? Are you gonna keep on doing this sports writing thing? I know it's tough.
Man, I honestly don't know. I'm just kind of winging it. Law school was kind of.
Wow.
Well, law school was kind of my responsible choice, I guess. I was interested in law school and high school and stuff, and a little bit in college. But then graduation time came in undergrad. And I was majoring in the humanities. I was like, what am I going to do with this? Because I kind of really want to be an author. I want to write novels and stuff. So law school is kind of my realistic career path if I ever wanted to actually try to write books in the future. And then just picked up a hobby of writing about the Razorbacks, and then started with Hog Blog on Twitter. Then I focused strictly on basketball, and then it was Hog Ball Blog, but it wasn't HOG anymore because copyright.
Amen.
And then then I switched over to JC Hoops once I hit 1,500 followers. I was like, all right, well, cool. Now I can be myself since I have a following.
Well, that's a hell of a fallback, dude. Let's get into some Arkansas basketball. JJ's got a couple questions I'll hit you with right quick.
Yeah, so let's start. So I'm looking at the SEC tournament odds. I kind of want your thoughts. I kind of divided them up into tiers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list a few teams that I would classify as kind of in the same realm, and I want you to tell me which of those 3 or 4 teams pose the biggest threat to us in Alabama.
This is a question?
Yeah, it's like a 3-parter. We divided it up, so it's 3 little tiers. All right, so tier number 1. We can make this open-ended for you guys too, if you want to jump in. But so setting aside us in Alabama, tier 1 is Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Missouri. Which of those 4?
That's tough because LSU and Missouri are 2 completely different teams, but they also present some really big matchup problems for Arkansas. So I'd say one of either LSU or Missouri. Probably LSU, though.
So you're out on Tennessee completely.
I'm just not that worried about Tennessee moving forward. I mean, they've gotten worse, and Arkansas has progressed ever since they played in Knoxville earlier.
I'll say I'm kind of worried about Mizzou when they get Tillman back, because I think he presents a huge matchup challenge. Obviously, Justice Smith equals that out, but them not having him in Columbia, I feel like that could have definitely been a loss for Arkansas, just how close that game was on the road if they would have had Tillman.
The only reason why I don't think Missouri is as much of an issue right now is because you look back at the game in Fayetteville when Arkansas was even without Justin Smith, and the only reason that Arkansas really lost that game is because it was a historically bad shooting performance. I think that was one of the 5 worst shooting performances in Bud Walton Arena ever since it was built. So I think you take that and then you return Justin Smith, even with the Jeremiah Tillman. I think Musselman can game plan around Tillman, kind of like they did against Texas A&M. They had their guys put up big numbers, and typically against with a Musselman team, when we go up against one of those guys, he will take away their best player more often than not. He will take away the best player from meeting their average. They're still going to put up numbers, but they're not going to get their 18 and 10. They might get their 14 and 5, but that's still 4 points and more possessions that they're not going to get just because you're limiting them in other areas.
I can't wait till you get to go to a Musselman practice when the pandemic's over and get to cover it, because it's insane how much emphasis he puts on scouting defensively. I remember when we were playing, it was Valparaiso. Is that how you say it? Valpo? Playing Valpo, and they had Freeman Liberty. And every time that I think JD Notte was supposed to be Freeman Liberty because he was out last year, and every time he got the ball, they like rang a Liberty bell, and it was so freaking like everybody was so focused, and it was insane defensive scouting, and they have like posters all over the wall of certain players and like how to guard them. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So I hope you get the chance to see that. And I think you're absolutely right. The best teams that Arkansas are going to face are going to be teams that Musselman can focus on one specific aspect to take away, and he does a really good job of that. So JJ, I hope that answers your question.
Very well. Yeah. On top of that, I'll add that TBD on having Jalen Williams, but I think not having Jalen against Tillman, I think is going to pose perhaps an even greater challenge than not having Justin Smith earlier in the year.
Maybe.
So. You know what? I'm not even going to mess with the bottom end of the SEC odds because I'm looking at it now. All those teams are so shitty that I mean, it's going to be Kentucky out of the rest of them. So it's a pretty dumb question. But in the similar light, kind of looking forward to the bracket. So obviously right now we're kind of a tweener 2-3 right now, but let's assume that a pretty safe assumption that we'll say be a 3 seed. According to Bracket Matrix, how well do you know mid-major basketball, JC?
I'm not brushed up on mid-major right now. I look at it occasionally. I'll glance at it, but not as much as I used to.
So this is probably going to be a very incorrect
JJ
answer.
knows more about mid-major basketball than anyone here because he's a degenerate gambler. If I had to guess.
Probably.
I was late to this call because I was watching Mercer and UNC. UNC Greensboro. Right now the 14 seeds are UNC Greensboro, Abilene Christian, Morehead State, and South Dakota State. Any thoughts on those and who scares you the most?
Okay, so
What?
I can tell you right now, I don't want to see Greensboro or Abilene Christian. I know we played Abilene Christian earlier, but Joe Golding's a hell of a coach, and they are really good defensively. I do not want to see Abilene Christian in March Madness. I don't care that we won earlier in Bud Walton Arena. That's just not a team I would want to see. Greensboro, I know enough to know that they've been a pretty solid program for a few years now. It feels like, isn't that where Gene Talsilla came from too?
He came from
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, UNC Wilmington is where he
Wilmington, not Greensboro.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think UNCG, I think they've had a pretty good program for a few years now. Didn't they have
that like 7 foot, like 8 dude one time?
That was Kenny George, and that was UNC Asheville.
Damn.
And all the different. How many schools are in the UNC like? I don't know what you call it.
You got Wilmington, Greensboro, and Asheville.
Winston-Salem.
Does that count? Duke?
Wake
Forest, Duke, UNC.
That's not the same.
Those are private schools. The system.
That's like Arkansas State and Arkansas. Same thing, dude.
Yeah.
You've got Chapel Hill. You've got Wilmington. You've got Greensboro. You've got Asheville. You've got Charlotte.
Yeah.
49ers. Those are all the ones.
You got East Carolina.
So out of all those schools, who would you least face, JC?
Well, hey, I forgot what the other two were. You talked about Abilene and UNCG. Who are the other two?
Morehead State and South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits.
South Dakota State's a scary program.
Well, give me Morehead State. I'll take Morehead State all day.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that with my very little knowledge. JJ, these are great questions, man. Keep them coming.
Kenneth Reed would absolutely eat your shit for saying that. The pride of Morehead State.
That's good. Good.
Kenneth Reed doesn't scare me. He doesn't know who I am.
That's very true.
He watches the pod every time we drop one. Where are you going?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kenneth Reed,
get him a sponsor, y'all.
Heads fan. Yeah.
Kenneth Reed and a very good lefty relief pitcher for the Arkansas Razorbacks with a new disability.
But a newfound slider.
Yeah, amen. That's like a 30 for 30.
No, we'll get to Wick later, but I'm very proud of him, and I will show that later.
He found a disability this summer, but under his sleeve, he also found a slider. All right. Sneed, you got any questions for JC?
I just have one. So as you can tell, I'm here in Bridgestone Arena, live from Press Row.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Yeah, it's really
Jealous.
great.
I wish I could get there.
Yeah. So I was actually here earlier today, and the FBI came and took Will Wade's laptop. How long do you think he's going to go before he gets arrested?
Shoot, man. I don't know if y'all like follow The Athletic or subscribe to The Athletic or anything like that, but
I read the first paragraph on all of them.
They put out a piece today. One of their lead writers put out a piece today where he thinks or he's heard that Sean Miller is out at Arizona, and an announcement will be made this week. So we'll kind of see, like, because I'm kind of thinking, like, if that happens there, and then all this shit going on with Les Miles in 2013 at LSU, like when he was there, you don't really have much room to have. Even if you look at Will Wade and say, no, he's probably innocent, even though this looks really bad, he might be innocent. You don't have a lot of wiggle room right now, even if he is innocent, to be like, no, we can take the PR risk. Right. You're LSU right now. You covered up sexual misconduct by a head coach.
Alleged players.
And players
too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you had the whole, who is it? Who was it? The wide receiver, was it Odell Beckham that came and was just throwing money in the national championship game too? And they're like, "Oh no, it's monopoly money." And then they self-reported.
They kind of wore out their insurance policy on public perception.
Well, not only that though, too. But Will Wade is honestly just not a good basketball coach. You look at this LSU roster this year; they have.
That's what I was about to say. It's not like
he's a loyal listener of the pod as well. We got to watch our words about Will Wade.
Man, it's just one of those deals where this year the two most talented rosters in the SEC were Alabama and LSU and Tennessee. But going through the season though, like watching all the teams play for a full season, I still say LSU has one of the top two most talented teams in the SEC. But they have Will Wade as their head coach. They play no defense. You go. I scouted and did some film study of the Arkansas LSU game. A bunch of their defensive sets are just and what they do wrong are just so fundamentally bad. I mean, when you're on the baseline and help, you're supposed to have your back to the basket. You're supposed to be parallel so you can see the full length of the floor. They're turning all the way around so you can just have back doors on the backside all day. It's really bad.
It's just funny listening to the tape come out, and like he presents himself as like the ultimate nerd, you know, and then him start going like dropping F-bombs like that. It was hilarious because you could just tell it was forced. He was trying to be cool. You know what I'm saying? That it was just super cringeworthy. You know, he's got his hand like sitting like right there on the back of his like whatever he does. You know, he's doing that the whole time. I got a question for you.
I've always thought he looks like the Charmin Plus. Charmin plus Puffs, like the little animated guy with the tissue.
Oh yeah. You mean?
I've always thought he looks like him. So that's every time I see him, that's what I think of.
I just really wish he could get some clothes that fit.
Yeah, he's got.
He is a sharp during suit season though, but before this year, I always thought he was a pretty sharp dresser. That's the one nice thing I've got to say about him.
After I saw him must pat his belly, I realized we had similar bodies.
That was an aggressive move to put that photo out.
Here's a fun fact for y'all, and I don't know if we can get a picture up and do it side by side, but we realized the other day that speaking of LSU and Les Miles and everything, that JJ looks just like Les Miles' wife.
Ooh.
For better or worse, you know what? We went side by side on it, and it's pretty damning.
It's striking. It's unbelievable.
His daughter, Smacker.
Yeah.
Smacker. That would be quite the compliment if he said you look like Smacker.
I didn't say you look like Smacker.
Okay. JC. I think we can probably go around the table here, including Justin, and get a quick take on who our favorite players are on the Razorback roster. I'd like to hear your so I'll start actually with Sneed.
I love Jalen Tate.
Yeah.
I want him to have my children.
I was about to say shout out Pinto, but I don't think he'd approve of that one. All right, what about you?
That's all I got.
JJ.
I really love the way that Devo has progressed this year, so I think I go Devo.
What do you call Connor Vanover?
El Blanco Cosechero.
El Blanco Cosechero. All right, what about you, Justin?
I'd say probably Jalen Tate or Justin Smith. I like Justin Smith a lot. He's
kind of like Mr. Personality, though, just all business.
Fast breaks.
But, yeah, what about you, JC?
Probably, especially over the past 11-game win streak, Moody and Jalen Williams. They're doing it all. I love Jalen's game, man. He is a certified glass cleaner. He just swallows up boards. It's
night and day. I mean, I don't think Texas A&M really stays in that. I mean, given they did make like 6 threes in the first minute, but I think without Jalen Williams, I don't think that we could have definitely won 12 in a row or 11. How many did we win? 11. I'll go with Devo too. I'm just kind of mad you stole mine, but he's like all Arkansas, man. He's just got that like
he's tenacious.
That Bobby Portis mentality, if you know what I'm saying, like just absolute grit, 100% of the time.
Kind of got the bug eyes too.
All right, let's get you out of here with this, JC. How far is Arkansas going to go in the NCAA tournament? Without looking at the bracket, just gut.
I knew you were going to ask me this, and I know it's going to depend.
This is just a warm-up because you're going to go on radio shows across the state, and they're going to ask you the same exact question. They won't have you on.
Not Ruskin and Zach, apparently.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you go on Ruskin and Zach.
It's funny. I will be on with Josh Bertaccini Friday morning, so that'll be fun. But
all right, he's better than Ruskin and Zach.
I've never been on his show before, but man, it's gonna depend on matchups. But if I'm gonna say right now what I expect, I expect a minimum of the Sweet 16, but I really think in the right setting, there could be an Elite Eight, and then what happens from there? You don't know. A lot of it is luck. A lot of it's matchups, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, coaching is a factor too, but absolute farthest, I'm going to say Final Four.
All right. You heard it here first. JC Hoops says that Arkansas is going to go to the Final Four, 100% guarantee. Came right out of his mouth.
He put his name in.
It's the beer talking.
Yeah. Look. I'm sure JC's had several tonight. He's a law student that works really hard. I'm sure this is your only one. But, dude, you've been awesome. I really appreciate it. It was great.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm down whenever you guys want to record another episode or just chat or whatever. I got plenty of free time.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't make sense, but I kind of believe you.
I'm going to start calling you after a few beers every night and getting your opinions on the game, JC.
all that JJ was trying to do when he had you on, he was just trying to get you to, like, give him some picks. Talk about majors.
I'm on such a cold streak right now. I'm looking anywhere for winners.
JJ's he's just wanting to pick up some money here and there.
I mean, I gotta find inspiration.
All right, JJ.
Buy Bitcoin. That's my inspiration for you. Buy Bitcoin.
GME to the fucking moon. Diamond hands, baby. 41%. Up 41% today, or something like that.
Y'all are dumbasses. Dude, JC, we appreciate it big time, man.
Yeah.
I think if we decide to do it next week, we'll just have you on again because something's going to change. So that's cool with you.
I'm down. Yeah. No, that was fun.
Hey, we're back.
All right, we're back. Hey, JJ, what's that douche-ass dude's name on Twitter that's getting Arkansas's mention? Nick Gustopoulos? What's that dude?
Are we talking about the guy
Nick Gasparilla?
Yes, Nick Gasparilla.
The Gasparilla?
That douche, dude. Hey, who's the number one team in the country? Watch out. If Boston College wins, Arkansas's done for.
You know what? I respect his game so much because he's doing the one smart thing. Like, you have to attack or, like, ruffle the feathers of the biggest, like, presence in your sport you cover, and that's what, like, he got what he wanted. He got so many impressions off that, and, I mean, for a guy that
had, like, 100 followers?
Yeah, he makes his own poll based off his own blog that has about 25 followers on it, and somehow he got, like, 10,000 impressions last weekend.
What? How did it start? Did it start during the what series was it?
I believe it was during the it was during the SEMO series, and he was like, If Arkansas fans keep talking shit, then
Yeah,
I
they're not gonna
may not put him as number one.
Yeah.
They're like,
That was
oh no,
but dude,
oh God,
you
don't
know-
do it, Nick, please no.
the best one was a couple days ago, and he's like, Arkansas fans better watch out, because if all caps Boston College beats who I don't even know who they played.
Sweep. If they sweep Auburn,
If they sweep Auburn, they gotta be number one in the nation. And then I think Wu Pig Sui just like put it was like 16-1. And poor guy, that was just like, it was his moment. And then
If Boston College touches number one this year, I will personally remove one of my testicles.
I bet in Nick's poll they got a good shot.
My-
All right, enough about that loser that we just gave a platform to. How about the Razorbacks, Ben? Number one in the country, starting off 10-0. Did you guys get flowed baseball?
I miss flow baseball.
Fuck you! Shut the fuck up.
I didn't.
I did. I purchased Flow.
I was in Dallas that weekend. I got tickets to the Stars game, and then the Stars game got postponed because of the weather. So I was trying to get tickets to that game. I couldn't get them, so I didn't watch the first 3 games. I just paid attention to what you dumbasses said on Twitter.
Pete, I had tickets. I couldn't go. You should have texted me.
Man, I tweeted it out.
I didn't see that. Maybe I guess I should have my notifications on for your tweets.
Buddy, that's honestly a sad deal. I know
That's honestly pretty shitty.
I would have, dude, and I had my buddies there, like all big Hawk fans. I would have been so cool too if I'd be like, "Yo, I got us tickets, man."
I gotta connect.
Dude, I would have got so much like man pussy, as in like just like love from the boys. If that would
I can't believe I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
It's all right, buddy. Anyway,
For
that's
apologies
kinda sad.
now.
Yeah. So beat Texas Tech, TCU, and
One more time, horns.
the fucking Longhorns. So that was how Arkansas kind of shot to the top, and then really all they've done so far to stay at number one. We're not talking baseball, just in terms of the poll. The state number one is they just haven't lost yet, and other teams have kind of fell, like Ole Miss losing to UCF. So I mean that's impressive in and of itself. What do you guys see from the starting pitching?
So
I
listen,
love Larry Lockhart. Can we start with the positive?
well, yeah, we'll start with the positive. Our bullpen, I think, is the best bullpen we've ever seen, ever.
Okay.
I'm not sold on our hitting, and I'm not sold on our starting pitching.
Okay.
That's me nitpicking, because obviously we haven't lost a game. So like, how can you really fucking say that? But
Larry Lockhart. Let's talk
What's
about
that?
Larry Lockhart for a second. I remember I was at the very end of my journalism career when Larry Lockhart decided to come to Arkansas. I didn't think that he would be a starting pitcher at all based off his resume at Houston. He was like a pretty decent pitcher.
he was like second team all conference.
Good for the American Conference, but he was also like a utility guy. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm glad to have him on his team. I didn't know if he was ever going to touch the field. He's come out and he's shown that like age matters in college baseball.
Yes,
I think that like being that old and seeing that much baseball makes a huge difference. That's why actually some of these teams are so dangerous that are like mid majors, is because they have a bunch of experienced guys. Think about like Stony Brook back in the day.
Oral Roberts.
But Leo Lockhart is going to be a solid starter for Arkansas. Now let's get to the negative. You go ahead.
The negatives is our how do I want to phrase this? Our coming into this season, our pros aren't as pro as we thought.
Talk about Connor.
So by that I mean, coming into the season, we fully expected the lineup to carry this team. We were expecting games of like 12-9, like throughout the season, and just winning games with our bats. I don't think this is going to be that team. I would like to see more production out of the lineup. First weekend of the season, the Texas Tech game, we capitalized on mistakes. It was error after error, pass ball after pass ball, and we just clawed our way to a win. The other 2 games, I mean, it was all on starting pitching and relief pitching. Like that's what won us those 2 games, and some situational hitting, like Christian Franklin, hitting an RBI triple in the bottom of the 7th. Like, yeah, those hits matter, and having good hitters matter. But 1-9, I want to see a more complete effort. We see, our efforts against Murray State and SEMO. I mean, you have again those moments
Dude,
where
yes, I'm with you. But yeah, we're just digesting this team. I was gonna say we're still 10-0, but
we
ahead.
are. Like I said, I'm nitpicking.
You're just digesting, so I'm sorry I even brought that up. I just felt the need to say that. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. I mean, you cannot complain about a team that's 10-0 in college baseball because every team's going to lose a game this year.
And so what I will take from that is I agree with everything you said about the pitching. The one thing I kind of disagree with is that you'd like to see us hit better, basically. I think that if you win 10 games, then the lineup's doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. You're putting enough runs up to win games. And I think top to bottom, just like I've said the last 2 years, but it really does feel like that College World Series, was it 2018 team that lost to Oregon State? It really does feel like that, where it's top to bottom. There is no easy outs. And I feel like there's been some easy outs in the past. I thought Jacob Nesbitt was an easy out for a couple of years. He proved time and time again that he could come in the clutch. And now he's older, more experienced. He's definitely not an easy out, especially in a clutch situation. I think top to bottom, you kind of reloaded. You don't have Kerstad, but, dude, Brady Slavens is an absolute murder of the baseball. That's awesome that we have some power in the middle of the order. Goodhart's going to be back and better than ever. Yeah, I think the middle of the order, you got power. At the top of the order, you got people that are going to get on base. And at the bottom of the order, you have no easy outs. It's exactly what you want a perfect lineup to be. They have that. They're going to be fine in terms of batting. Now,
it's a very good lineup, but I will say that what I expected out of our lineup, which was a complete 1-9, like I can't wait to see who's next at the plate. That's how I feel about our bullpen right now. I cannot wait to see who comes out of the pen next because we have about 12 guys that they're 95 and can get 3 outs at any given time.
I will say this: we've played exactly 3 games in the month of March, and everything else has been February baseball, and it's cold outside. And as it starts to heat up,
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So let me talk again. I talked earlier to some YouTube commenters. I'm talking to you right now because what I'm about to say is going to kiss some flack. But I think if you put Connor Nolan as a starter, he pitches way better than he's been pitching. Now, here's to you, YouTube commenter that says, you let Dave Van Horn do what Dave Van Horn does. No shit. I know. I've been saying that to you for years. You let Dave Van Horn do what Dave Van Horn do because he's the best. All right, he's the GOAT. But let's just talk hypothetically. I think if you put Connor Nolan as a starter, he's going to pitch better than what we've seen so far from our starters. I think he's a better option. Because here's why.
You know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say? Hell yeah?
Start Wick.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to say Wick.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of the same conversation, but Wick has actually been pitching well, and I kind of like him coming out of the bullpen. Don't you?
I mean, he can get you 4 or 5 good innings, whether it's starting the 3rd inning or starting the 1st inning. It doesn't matter. But
okay, let me ask you this, because I know you and Wick are good buddies. We're going to get that out of the way first. All right?
Yeah.
And when he becomes a pro, he's going to be a relief pitcher. So this isn't all bad for him.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I'm not sold on that theory yet.
Because he throws high heat, and I think a good lefty out of the bullpen is always good to have, and I think he does a really good job.
I think he's developed more into a craft pitcher. Like, he uses his off-speed stuff to kind of set up that.
Maybe I'm still thinking about young Wick, but he would be pissed that you said he doesn't throw high heat.
I'll text him right now that he doesn't throw high heat. He'd be like, fuck you, but he doesn't. Like, he's just a crafty lefty right now.
He is a crafty lefty. I like what I'm seeing. So can you give us like a little background on the diabetes thing? Because that was kind of the shock to everybody.
Yeah, actually, so we were supposed to go golfing this past summer, and he just he didn't text me for like 12 hours that day. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he texted me the next day, and he was like, hey, so I'm in the hospital. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I went to urgent care.
Wait, quick question. I love the story, and I'm glad you're telling it. Were you more concerned about him as a friend or as a baseball player?
Oh, friend, 100%.
I'd definitely be more concerned about a baseball team.
Well, I mean, yeah. But no, so he apparently he didn't have his car, so he had to get an Uber to the urgent care. The urgent care said his blood sugar was over 400.
Jesus.
It was like 415 or 440, and normal is like 120 or 110, something like that.
God.
So I think at 480, your organs start shutting down. So he was like on the precipice of like his organs failing him. So they tested his blood sugar, and he immediately got a free taxi ride, not a free taxi ride, but a taxi ride on an ambulance straight to the hospital. And he spent like 5 days in the hospital.
I thought it was an Uber.
Well, he got an Uber to the urgent care, and then he got an ambulance to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he spent a few days at the hospital until they could regulate his blood. I remember, like it. From what I remember, he was there for like a week. I kept asking him, like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, it's done in the hospital." I'm like, "Jesus Christ!"
I got one suggestion for Wick, and I'm so happy he's like, because he's a really good dude. I remember interviewing him during press conferences, and if he's hanging out with JJ, obviously he's one of the boys. Next time, dude, here's my suggestion: if you're about to die and your organs are about to fail you, just tweet out, "I need a ride to the hospital." You'll have like 50 cars.
Violations.
Yeah, that's
okay.
True. You were risking violations, but he didn't know.
How shitty would that be to slap with a violation for needing a ride?
So I remember talking to him, and he like the day before, he thought he was just like exhausted from the heat. He was like, "Yeah, man, I have no energy. Like I don't know." He's like, I just don't feel good. And I think we like went on a hike or something the day before that. So he was like, "Man, maybe I just like I don't know, something went down and." I'm just like tired from the heat. And then the next day, like he was still like exhausted, had no energy, lethargic, didn't want to eat anything. He was like, all right, I'll go get checked out and see if anything's going wrong. So he had no idea. He just thought maybe like his energy was off. So he went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, your organs are about to shut down in like an hour if we don't get to the hospital.
Props to you for being a big J and not breaking the story because I had no idea what was going on.
I fucking asked him to while he was in the hospital about it. I was like, hey, can I tweet this out? And he was like, no.
Props to you for being the bigger man and not breaking the story. Like I said, I had no idea what was going on when I was like, no Connor, no Wicklander. Like what's going on here?
The other big story was he was supposed to wear rec specs instead of his glasses, but I guess Van Horn nixed that.
Really?
Yeah, he was like supposed to wear like goggles. He told me he was like, "I'm gonna come out for his game in some goggles."
Didn't Campbell wear like a hybrid?
I think he just did straight glasses.
They were like kind of. Sometimes he'd have the strap on the back though. I'm pretty sure. But I guess it's like a retired jersey. You can't bring that back. That's one thing that you can't do. You can't be somebody you're not. But props to him for coming back. He's pitching. Like you said, a crafty lefty. I'll take.
Pitching great. He's got an ERA of 0.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about the young guns in the bullpen? I really like Zach Morris. I really liked him last year. He is
Pride of Cabot next to me.
Do what?
He's the second Pride of Cabot.
Oh, okay, second Pride of Cabot. Yeah, no, dude, he's no Matt Cronin, but he looks like he's got a lot of pro potential.
You know who's better than Matt Cronin?
Oh, come on now,
Jackson Wiggins. I'm telling you.
Oh. Okay, just because Carabas put him up on Twitter?
No. It's not. Carabas is late to the game on this one, dude. I saw his first 3 pitches against TCU. I think that was his first outing was against TCU. I don't think he pitched against Texas Tech. It was against Texas. It was against Texas that he pitched first. I took 3 pitches, and I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy, we got something here. Apparently he was supposed to be your starter, and Van Horn was like, I want to start him in the pen. I want that guy as a 9th inning. Like, I do not want that guy starting right now. I want him in the 9th inning nails.
Well, we kind of need starting pitching right now, so maybe
I'd rather find other options. I want that guy in the 9th.
What about Zach Morris, though? Zach Morris has been closing out the games, dude. And then, yeah, you're right about the bullpen, though. This is way better than I think when we had Cronin closing games out. We had Ramage. I'll take Wicklander and Nolan over Ramage any day. No offense to Ramage.
Yeah.
Reindl. I think that we have a better group than that 2018 run. Not saying they were bad. They were awesome. I just think that you have so much talent. It's just a matter of figuring out the rotation, which they're going to do.
I have a similar feeling about our
starting pitching is bad.
As our 2021 bullpen.
Here's my what I've noticed. Is this the best fielding team we've had in a long time? Maybe. I mean,
you know one big difference. Shout out Casey Martin. There's not a lot of errors at shortstop.
I didn't
big
want to say it without.
I mean,
saying it.
a middle infield of battles and more is just. I mean, you're not going to see mistakes out there.
No, Casey Martin is a Razorback legend. Forever will be. It was painful to watch him when he was slumping on the field because it was all mental, and you just don't see that, and it's night and day difference because everyone knows this. What do you learn in T-ball? The best player is going to play shortstop. They hit the ball to them the most. That's why it looked ugly sometimes.
I'll say this too, though.
And Nesbitt is underrated at third base. I'll continue to say.
I think he's a very good third baseman. He's no Bobby Warnes, but I mean, he could definitely field.
I'm not fixing to start a hate session on Van Horn at all, but I will say it seems like
YouTube commenters.
It just seems like every year I don't know why and maybe I'm wrong, but it always seemed like we had decent fielding that was just good enough you would hope to get us to Omaha. This team this year, we're not going to make mistakes. And JJ's talking earlier about waiting, that's
go ahead.
That's what, a team that can sit back and let other teams make mistakes and take advantage of it. That's going to be a tough out.
Yeah, I'll take it. But I will say, when you had Dominic Fletcher at center field, that was insanely entertaining to watch, and he probably won us a couple ball games. All right,
I have a fun little question.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Would you trade Kumar Rocker for Bobby Moore right now?
Yeah, dude. I want Kumar Rocker on my team with anybody.
Kumar gets you 1 win a week. Bobby can get you a few a week.
Yeah, but Kumar gets you a guaranteed win, and we need a starting pitcher. It's just off need right now.
Yeah, no, I mean I am on that boat too. I just think it's an interesting.
That's kind of tough to do to Bob because he's everyone loves Bob. All right, let's end the show on this. Like, what the hell is happening with Arkansas sports? I'm dead serious, dude. Like, it is a feeling that I've never had, and I'll say this: I am so happy. My Saturdays and my Tuesdays and my Wednesdays have been so much better than they used to be. I don't know what to do with myself. It's awesome, but there is this feeling inside of me that this is not meant to be. It's going to come to an end, and it's just going to be a sad, sad day in my living room with my friends and on Twitter.
I'm expecting heartbreak.
I am so expecting heartbreak. And I'll say this. I'm not talking about we lose in the Elite Eight. I'll be happy with that. I'm talking about like it could be like a UMBC Virginia type deal. It's in there. Is it in there with you, JJ? Are you?
I don't know. I feel kind of fearless right now, and this
that's dangerous, dude.
I'm not talking in a day-to-day sense. I'm more like my confidence in like the department as a whole. Like I like a testament. Like I do not think we're anywhere near this right now if we didn't hire Hunter Yurchek. I think Hunter Yurchek has laid the groundwork for all this shit. Like
and every hire he's made has come with criticism,
it works. Yeah. Everyone's worried. He's built, DVH asked for this and that. He got DVH that. We've been having top 3 recruiting classes and Omaha trips.
Yeah. And Eric Musselman, people said we needed somebody from the South. They always say that.
Yeah.
He's got, like I said with JC earlier, he's got that kind of Arkansas. He's not from around here, never been to Arkansas probably, but he's one of us. You can just tell by the way he acts. And no one knew that besides Hunter Yurchek, so he took a chance with Musselman. And, of course, Sam Pittman is all damn state of Arkansas. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But you're right. Hunter Yurchek is the man. He's done A++ so far.
People forget that I was not a big Yurchek fan early on. And I want to say one thing to Hunter Yurchek. I apologize. We could – we could still be stuck with Jeff Long. He would have been forced to have fired Bielema. We could have Les fucking Miles as our head football coach right now.
Easily.
I mean, come on.
Whoops.
Yurchek, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know that things are going good when Mike Neighbors' basketball team might be the most disappointing part of the athletic department right
And they're like a top 15 team.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Do we have a
It's
single
absolutely-
team like active in the spring that isn't ranked right now?
No, everybody's
What
ranked.
about soccer?
Everything's ranked.
I think soccer's like number 4.
Yeah.
What? No, they lost to somebody. I remember that. I was pissed. I was like, that's not supposed to happen. They lost to like Drake, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Hog's gonna hog, dude.
Hog's gonna.
No, it was great getting back with you guys, and this is like the best time to be an Arkansas Razorback fan in my whole entire life. I genuinely, I'm being dead ass serious. Maybe, man, I'm obviously more of a football guy. When we went to the Sugar Bowl, that was awesome. This feels different. It's because it's happening at all levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm baseball first, basketball second, football third kind of guy. So, I mean, this is just my bread and butter right here.
Yeah,
I'm living it.
you're
I'm
like-
living it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, man, good to see you guys. I'm glad everyone's doing well. You look pale and fat, but still the same old dudes.
Pale, fat, and happy, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it again next week. Let's get JC Hoops on. He was awesome.
Yeah, let's
Let's
not
go to
let's not
JJ
go on a
soon.
hiatus here.
Well, I forgot to mention while we were on the hiatus, JJ, do you want to shed some light on that?
Oh, yeah, we've been trying to book JC for 4 months, and he kept booking us.
Little bastard. Yep. That's the truth.
A guy steals your damn idea and he goes
Yeah.
prima donna on you for 5 months. It's unbelievable.
Drop